Morning students, today we'll start with standard 4, lesson number 2. Everyone, you have to take your textbooks out. Lesson number 2, the interrelationship between living things, page number 7. Okay, everyone, you have to take your textbooks out. So we'll start with chapter number 2, page number 7, the interrelationships between living things. We'll start with the first para. The needs of living things are met in their environment, which is written in the yellow box. We'll start the lesson from there. The needs of living things are met in their environment. It is meant by that all the living things, whatever things they need, it is all provided by the environment. We have many needs like food, air, water, clothes, and shelter. All these needs are met in our surroundings. All the basic things, whatever a living being needs to live, is provided by our surrounding. In fact, food, water, and air are the needs of all living things. These are the three basic needs that all the living beings need to live. They are all fulfilled in the environment. But there are differences in the needs of each kind of living things. For example, the water that a mouse drinks in an entire day would not be enough for an elephant even at one time. We all know that though we all are same living beings, then to each and every body or each and every animal or human being has different capacity. Like one of the example is given here that the quantity of water that a mouse drinks, would you think that much will be enough for an elephant? No, even for one time also it is not enough for the elephant. Now we'll go to page number 2. Now we'll start with page number 8. I'll start with the first paragraph where it is written, think about it. You just have to think about it. Butterflies feed on the nectar of the flowers. As we all know that butterfly, they feed on the nectar of the flowers. Can the frog do the same? No, the frog cannot do the same. A sheep eats the leaves of the shrub. Can a tiger do that? No. A fish can breathe in water, but can a pigeon do? No. Bulrushes grow in water. Can a lemon tree do so? No. See, as you can see that in all these questions asked to you, everyone is not a same. Though they all the living things and they all need the basic things that we all need, that is air, water and food, then too everyone has a different characteristics. Next, there's one more question asked to you that if a fish leaves the water, will they be alive to live? Will they be able to live on land? So this is a common question. We all know that no, it cannot live on land because it has different body which helps it to stay only in water. The characteristics that a fish has, it is totally different from the animals that live on land. So it cannot live without water. Next is an experiment given to you, but we don't have to try this, but we'll just read and try to understand what the changes occur. Okay, so here's it is given that take two small boxes and you have to label both of them as 1 and 2. You have to fill each the box with 3/4 of soil. Make the soil moist enough to sow the seeds. Sow 2 sprouted matki in each box. In each of the box, what you have to do, you have to fill the box 3/4 with a moist soil and then you have to put matki in it. Just 2 to 3 grains of matki. And then in one box, you have to give 2 spoons of water every day. Only once in a day. Every day you have to give it, but how much time? Only once a day. And in the second box, you have to give 4 spoons of water to the other box 4 times a day. What have been said here that when you give 2 spoons of water to box number 1 only once in a day, and in the second box if you give 4 spoons of water, that is also 4 times a day, you have to carry on this for 6 days. And after 6 days, what will be happen? It is given in the second picture. what we will we see that the plants in the box 1 are growing well, but the plants in the box 2 have begun to rot. Why does this happen? We'll see in the next question when it's asked that what does this tell us. This tells us that plants that are not aquatic plants cannot grow in marshy areas. Aquatic plants means plants which grow in water. Plants that grow in waters cannot grow in marshy areas, means with less water. If they get more water than they need, they rot. What is the meaning said over here? That to a particular thing, if you give whatever is his capacity, see, as in the box number 1 and box number 2 we have added the four equal quantity of seeds, that is matki. So matki needs less water, we have understood from this example, and if we give it too much water it will begin to rot, and if we give it equal quantity of water it will grow very well. So this is being said that each and every living being has a different characteristic, has a different body, and he has adapted on different land and water. So whoever is able to live on land cannot live in water, and who is able to live in water, they cannot live on land. In the last line we can see any type of living being will be found only where its needs are fulfilled. Any living being you can find only there where its need is fulfilled, where he gets each and everything that needs him to grow strong and healthy. Now we'll go to page number 9. Now we'll start with page number 9. Let's take the example of a tiger. A tiger has stripes. A tiger lies in wait for its prey. Its prey means for its dinner among tall trees. Its prey cannot see it in the grass because of its stripes. There are animals like the deer, the nilgai, and the bison in grasslands. When the tiger is hungry, it can feed on them. What does tiger feed on? Tiger's food is other animals. It kills other animals to fulfill its hunger. For a tiger, there also needs to be a water hole nearby, which never dries up even in summer. There must also be dense vegetation. Dense vegetation means tall trees or caves and hills in which he can eat his food very properly without any other animal interfering him. Tall grasses means dense vegetation means tall grasses in which he can hide himself and easily find his food. So there must be dense vegetation, tall grasses, or caves in hills or mountains in the area so that a tiger can find shelter. A tiger inhabits an area where all these things are available. What is said in this line? That a tiger inhabits. Inhabit means it occupies. A tiger occupies an area in which all these things are easily available. Which things? It is the tall grasses which helps him to hide, cave or hill for him to rest like his shelter, also tall grasses, dense vegetation, and also animals like deer, nilgai, and bison, so that he can eat his food anytime. Now, we keep animals in order to satisfy some of our needs. They become dear to us. We look after them very well. We also feed them. We take them to a vet if they fall ill. Vet is a doctor of animals. We call him as a vet. These animals too return our affection. What is said is in this paragraph that for our own needs we keep some animals, like we keep cows for their milk, we keep hen for the eggs and meat, etc. Bulls for farming in the field, and all these animals like this. We all keep these animals for our own needs, and whenever we keep them, they become dear to us. They become as a family member to us. We also take care of them. We also feed them on time, and if they are ill, we also take them to a vet. Vet is a doctor of animals. We'll see the next page now. Now page number 10. We get milk, meat, eggs, and several other things from the animals. Some animals are useful for carrying burdens or drawing carts. Domestic animals are also used to help with the heavy farm work in the fields. Dogs guard our houses and sheep gives us wool. We all know that each and every animal is helpful by some or the other way. Like we get milk, meat and eggs from whom? We get milk from cow, buffalo, we get meat from the goat, hens, eggs also we get from the hens, and many other animals. Burdens who carry burdens, they are horses and donkeys and even camels in some areas. Domestic animals are also used to help with the heavy farm works in the field, like bulls. Dogs guard our homes and sheep give us wool. In the next paragraph, do you know even the excreta of the domestic animals is of use of human beings? Excreta is the waste that comes from the animal's body. That is also very useful for human beings. The dung of the cattle is made into dung cakes. Dung cakes are that when we used to burn the holy. See, you have all seen, it is made up of the dung of the cattle. They are combustible. They are easily catching fires and they are very helpful. The dung of cattle is made into dung cakes. They are combustible. They are used in some places as fuel. When they burn, they give out smoke. A combustible gas called gobar gas is also obtained from the cattle dung. That too is used as a fuel. It burns without smoke. Cattle dung is used for plastering mud houses. In the older days or in the villages, we can see what is used for plastering the houses. Cattle dung is used to plaster the houses. Manures made from cattle dung. Manures is the solid waste that comes from the animals, especially the horses. So manures made from the cattle dung and the sheep pellets are good for plants. Farmers use them for growing crops. In this paragraph, what we have seen that not only animals are very useful to us, but also their dung is also useful to the farmers and everyone. Now we'll see the next page. Now we'll see page number 11. Just as we need animals, we need plants too. Plants give us food grains, vegetables and fruits. We love flowers too. We use them for many different purposes. We get flowers from plants. We also get cotton wool from plants to make cotton clothes. We grow plants that are useful to us methodically. Methodically means in an order. We sow seeds. We make sure that they get water. We give manure when necessary. We spray pesticides if they are attacked by insects. Plants too give to us abundantly. Plants also give us in return in a very large quantity. They also satisfy our needs. Other living things also get their food from the environment. For example, chameleons eat insects when they are hungry. Some snakes eat mice and frogs. Tigers eat deers. Goat and sheep eat leaves of plants, and cattle eats grass. On the last page, what we have seen that animals are very useful to us, and on this page, what we have seen that even not only animals but plants are also very useful to us. They also provide us with their food, fruits, flowers, food grains, everything. A new term, arboreal. What is arboreal? This word comes from the Latin word arbor, which means tree. Arboreal means living in trees. Arboreal means who live in trees. Animals like monkeys and squirrels live on trees. We have all seen that these animals stay on the trees. It gives them certain advantages. Though they stay on the trees, they also have some great advantages of it. Being at a height, they are better able to defend themselves from their enemies. Besides, they can eat the fruit of the trees to satisfy their hunger. Such animals are said to be arboreal. What is being said that whenever any animal stays on the tree or its house is on the tree, it has many advantages. Like at being on a height, It can protect itself from the other enemies, and also it can eat the fresh fruits present on the tree. And such animals which stay on the trees are called as arboreal animals. Unknowingly, they also help the tree with whose support they live. They don't only live on the tree, but they also help the tree. And how do they help? We'll see now. It is like as they move around here and there in the surrounding, they spread the seeds of the fruit they have eaten through their droppings. Because of this, new trees grow in different places. Some types of birds also find trees useful for building their nest. Whenever animals stay on the trees, they also help the animal trees. How do they help them? That whenever they eat their fruits, what do? They scatter the seeds of that fruit here and there. They throw it here and there so that whenever it gets water, so on each and every path there is another more fruit tree grown. And many of the birds, they also find trees useful for building their nest. This also help their babies and their eggs from their enemies. Now we'll see the next page. Now we'll start with page number 12. I'll read the first box. When a buffalo is grazing in a grassy area, you are very likely to see an egret riding on its back. What could be the reason for that? See in the picture also you can see, and many a times even in your television you might have seen that whenever a buffalo is grazing in a grassy area, the egret is always likely to ride on its back. What is the reason for it? We'll see it now. A certain kind of egret, means in egret also there are many more categories, but a certain kinds of egrets, they feed on different kinds of insects. What do they eat? They eat different kinds of insects. And because the grass is full of insects, grass is also full of many kinds of insects, but as they are hidden in the grass, the egret cannot see them and catch them. The egret is also small and the grasses are tall, so what does happen that the egret cannot find the insects to eat and they cannot also catch them. So as a result, as the buffalo treads on the grass, as the buffalo is grazing the grass, it frightens the insects. The insect gets frightened by seeing the buffalo and they fly. And the egret, which is on the buffalo's back, it makes no mistake in swooping down to catch and eat them. It makes no mistake in swooping. In swooping means to move very fast. It makes no mistake to move very fast down to catch and eat the small insects. That is the reason it always rides on the back of the buffalo. Now we'll see some seasonal changes in the living things. Which are the seasonal changes that occur in our living things? That also we'll see now. We have 3 seasons. This we all know that which are the 3 seasons? They are summer, rainy season and also winter season. It is very hot in the summer. We wear cotton clothes and drink plenty of water. All of this, we usually do this. In the rainy season, we use umbrellas or different kinds of raincoats and hoods to avoid getting wet in the rain. In the rainy season, what we do use? We use umbrellas, we use different kinds of raincoats and also hoods. Hoods is also a raincoat, but which has a cover on our head, which has an attached cover, which also covers our head. It has a cap-like structure attached to the raincoat. That is called as hoods. In winter, we wear woolen clothes and other warm clothes to protect ourselves from the cold. Whenever it is winter season, you might have seen that your mama makes you wear all the woolen clothes and the warm clothes. It is to protect yourself from the cold. We'll see the next page now. Now we'll see page number 13. Just as the 3 seasons affect us, they affect all other living things too. The 3 seasons which you have seen now, summer, winter and rainy, they not only affect the human beings, but they also affect all the other living things. We see these changes taking place in the living world every year and also year after year. The winter in Maharashtra is also called as the season of Pangal. Pangal means when the leaves fall off the trees. that is the falling of leaves. This is because many trees shed their leaves in winter. The coats of many furry animals become thicker in winter. This keeps them warm in the cold season. Such growth of hair is especially noticeable in the animals like sheep and some types of goats and rabbits. In these animals also changes occur in the winter season. What is that? Their skin, their or that fur which is present on their body, it becomes more thicker in winter, which helps them with the cold weather and it protects themselves to be warm. The end of winter is also the time for the mango trees to start blossoming. These blossoms are called mohur in Marathi. Winter season, when it's end, it is the time for the mango trees, they start blossoming. And at the close of the month of February, it becomes warmer. As it is to the close to the month of February, it becomes warmer, and by March we begin to feel the heat. It's now this is the time for summer. In this reason, many trees get new leaves. Forests appear to have taken on a copper color because these leaves are reddish and shiny while they are tender. This color, their color changes to green as the leaf grows bigger. The call of the koel is heard in many places. When the summer is starting, what the changes does the tree occur? The tree gets many new leaves, and the forest appears to be looking as a copper color. Why? Because the trees have just the leaves have just begun to grow, and they have a slight reddish and shiny color. And as they grow bigger, they become green. Also, the bird koel, the voice of her is heard in many places. Also, in summer, the market is full of mangoes and watermelons for us to buy. This is the season for these fruits. Summer season is a fruit for mangoes and watermelons. Although mango trees grow all over Maharashtra, the Konkan region is particularly famous for its mangoes. Mangoes are grown in all the areas, but mostly Konkan. It is known very famously for its mangoes. It is also the season for cashew nuts. See, you can see just next there are pictures given of cashew nuts, how they grow. The red yellow cashew apples can be seen growing on the cashew trees on the hillsides. This is also in the Konkan region. Now we'll go to the next page. Now we'll see the page number 14. In June, black clouds make their appearances. In June, what do we see? We see black clouds starting in the sky. The rainy season is a short way away. By this time, we begin to get jackfruits, jamuns, that is Java plums, and also karavandas. These are the fruits that we get by the June month. The seeds of the grass and other plants lie scattered all over the ground. In this month, also the farmers start lying seeds all over the ground. They sprout and start growing as soon as it begins to rain. It becomes green everywhere. Whenever it's rainy season, you can see that everywhere greenery is observed. This greenery is soothing after the summer hot months. Sometimes we can even see the rainbow and its 7 colors in the sky. Many of us have seen rainbows in the rainy season. As it becomes wet everywhere, also frogs appear. We also hear the loud noise of frogs croaking all together. As the rainy season ends, it is time for the winter to make a comeback. It gets colder and colder. This is not good for the frogs. So what do? They go deep under the ground for a long period of slumber. Slumber means for a long period of sleep, which lasts for 7 to 8 months. As the rainy season comes, what do frogs do? They come out of their houses, and as the rainy season ends, when it starts the winter season, winter is not at all good for the frogs. So what do? They go underground and have a sleep for around 7 to 8 months. We depend on agriculture for food. this we all know that from where do we get all these foods that we eat? We all get it from agriculture. The different seasons, that is summer, winter and the monsoons, are the time for doing different tasks in the field. Farmer, they don't have any holiday. In each and every season there is a particular fruit, seeds or grains which is suitable for them. So in each and every season there are different grains and different fruits grown. So we have finished with the lesson now. Now in the next paragraph we'll just go to the important points to recall the lesson. The first one is that the needs of all the living things are met in the environment. There are differences in the needs of different living things. We have seen that all the things that we need for a basic living, it is provided by the environment, and all the living things, they all have different needs. Of different living things there are different needs. Second is some arboreal animals. Arboreal animals, I have told you that they are the animals which live on trees. Arboreal animals like monkey and squirrels, they live on trees and feed on them. Their droppings help trees to grow in a new places. Some birds build their nest in trees. Third one is each type of living things thrives where all its needs are fulfilled. For example, tigers live in grasslands and aquatic plants live in water. Wherever the needs of any living thing is completed, you can find it only in that area or only in that surrounding. And the last point is changes in the seasons, they also affect the living things. In winter, trees shed leaves and animals' coats grow thicker. At the start of summer, trees get new leaves. In the rainy season, it becomes green all around, frogs appear and crops start growing in the fields. You should also always remember that the environment changes with the seasons. Living things have to adapt themselves to those changes. Whenever the environment changes or the season changes, we also should change our living habits. So now we have finished with the lesson. I hope you have understood all the explanation given by me. And next on page number 15, whatever question answers are given to you, it will be provided to you in the end of this video. You have to complete your notebook and be prepared for any other